Let's do what now? Step it up a notch and get to learn more advanced topics within object-oriented programming for Python, JavaScript, and PHP. So let's check out another class or another set of classes with this. We'll be looking at inheritance, polymorphism, and encapsulation, which is closely tied to abstraction. To do this, we'll create new files. Let's start again from scratch because it's going to be a little bit, a lot, let's put it that way, that we need to cover. So OOP2 for Python, another one for JavaScript, and another one for PHP. Let's start with the Python class or the Python file. So like I said, we'll be doing some advanced topics in object-oriented programming. Inheritance has to deal with inheriting both the attributes and the methods from a base class or a superclass. As you can see in this case, we're going to start with a vehicle class. So a constructor for the vehicle class is going to hold the brand, the model, and the vehicle identification number, the VIN. So once again, similar as we've done before, the brand and the model, we're going to create attributes and assign them. But for the VIN number, we're going to set up some kind of encapsulation. We don't want the VIN number to be accessible outside of this class, so we're going to make it private. To do that in Python, you use an underscore. So 2 underscores make it private, 1 underscore is still the same thing, the subtle differences between the two. Now that it's private, for us to be able to give anyone access to this attribute outside of our class, we need a get method to be able to get the variable, and another set method if you want to set it. For now, we're just going to keep things simple and do a get method only. But not to get you confused, let's expand this and try to make it clear. Rather than the get method, let's go ahead and just print out the output first. If we want to, say, move the vehicle, per se, for the vehicle to move, as you saw in the case of the intro. So to move the vehicle, pretty much just print out the brand, the model, and the VIN number. All right, oops, I think we need to make sure we use move and not VIN. We're going to do the get method separately. So the move method for the vehicle, we're going to move the vehicle and just print out something like, hey, we're moving this car of this model with this VIN number and so on. For the get method, we're going to, again, each one of these methods are tied to the class. So we always have to use a self keyword, just like the attributes are tied to the class. So simply just return the VIN number if we're going to use a get method or if we're going to try to get the information. Now, moving on to inheritance. That vehicle class is our base class in Python. To inherit it, we just go ahead and put it in parentheses. So in this case, on line 21, our car class is inheriting everything from the vehicle. We also have a constructor. Obviously, each time we create an instance of a car, that constructor is going to run. And each time that constructor runs, we're going to have those parameters. And the parameter is going to get its initiation, its constructor from our superclass. As you can see, the superclass, again, has just the brand, model, and VIN. It does not have a color, so we'll have to handle that separately. So we'll inherit everything that is coming from the vehicle class, and then we slap in the color at the end of the day. All right. So for polymorphism, oops, I need to make sure the name of the move is correct. For polymorphism, we're going to have this method, this behavior of the vehicle is going to change a little bit. Instead of us just printing the brand, model, and VIN number is moving, we're going to go a step further and specify where it's moving. So a car is going to be moving on land. You know, there are many ways that you can have polymorphism. You can change either a particular attribute. In this case, we added another attribute. You could change the behavior. You know, in this case, we're changing the behavior. It's just a print statement. But in a more complicated case, you can probably change the algorithm, the computation within that function. And similarly, we make a copy of a car class, and we do the same for the boat. The boat is going to do everything the car does, except the boat is going to be moving on water. The boat has an engine like a car, it moves, and so on and so forth. It has a color, a VIN number, a brand, and a model. So just like that, we've been able to create 2 classes that are inheriting from our vehicle class. Now let's go ahead and create some instances, right, to show how this polymorphism actually works. So creating instances again from the class, we assign the new object to a particular attribute, should I say variable, this time it's a variable, an object, my car. So my car is going to call on that car class, which is going to need a brand, model, color, and VIN in that order. So we pass in that information, and we can also create a boat called my boat. We're going to call on the boat class, which is going to run its initiation method. That initiation constructor is now going to need the brand, the model, as well as the color, and so it's getting the brand and model as well as the VIN number from the superclass that the color is coming from. I think, yeah, in this case, we did not add a color, so we don't need to add a color in this case. We'll just go with that. Now we can go ahead and put our vehicles in a particular data structure. In this case, I'm going to create a list and call it my fleet vehicles. So this list of objects is going to hold my car object and my boat object. If I'm very wealthy, like those millionaires, I could have hundreds on hundreds of different objects within that list. That's totally fine. If I need all of my vehicles to move together, I can go ahead and use a loop. We've looked at loops earlier. Use a simple for loop, which is definitive. We know how many times it's going to execute because it's going to execute for each one of the items within our list. So vehicle within the fleet of vehicles should move, and we have different behaviors for each one of our vehicles. But remember, we made sure that the VIN number was protected. Let's not use the word protected. It was private, right? So since it's private, we cannot go ahead and just make changes to it like that. We can make changes to the brand, the model, and the color because those are public. They are not private. So if we want to print that get the brand or, make changes to the brand, we can simply just say, hey, my car.brand, you should print it out. My car.color, you should print it out. My car.model, you should print it out. But we can't say my car.__VIN. That will give us an error because that is a protected attribute. Instead, we created a class, if you remember. If you scroll up a little bit, you see. But this class, or rather not a class, a method, this method lets us to be able to access our private attributes with this public method. So my car.getVin will then be able to give me the VIN number, as you can see on line 14 and 15. Awesome. Well, that's about it. We covered everything from inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, and abstraction for Python. Let's dive into JavaScript. Again, rationale is the same. We create a class, use the class keyword, but for JavaScript, we use the constructor keyword. We don't use the _init, which I call dunder init. So constructor keyword and this keyword instead of the self keyword. So with the this keyword, we can now assign values for our attributes. Now, for a private attribute in JavaScript, we use the hashtag. So hashtag VIN will make sure that our VIN is now a private field or private attribute. And just like that, it's set up. And since we made it private, we need to be able to create a public method that we can use to make changes, either get or set the VIN. So to get the VIN, we go ahead and just use the getVin function to be able to get that VIN, not a function, but a method, I should say. All right. Now we also need that move method. The move method is simply just going to print out, hey, your vehicle, given the brand and model, is moving, per se. And once we get to create our subclasses from our superclass, we can go ahead and make changes. I don't know if I should say override this method using polymorphism or the process or concept of polymorphism. All right. So again, it might be challenging to do your concatenations. It's not Python. Python is easy to do, but with JavaScript and PHP, you have to be very careful with your curly parentheses or curly braces, parentheses, and so on. So in the same light, we create a class for our car. For the car, which is a subclass, we use the keyword extends. For Python, we just use brackets or parentheses. For JavaScript, we're going to use the keyword extends. It extends a vehicle. We still use our constructor. Constructor in this case is going to take 4 attributes. 3 of the attributes are coming from the superclass, so we're going to write that in there and then add our color as well. And we need to make some modifications to the move method. We'll go ahead and create that modification and add the onLAN. Once again, make a copy of excuse me, please. Make a copy of the car class and do the same thing. For the car class, we don't really need, or the boat class per se, create a boat class. We just extend the vehicle. Everything that the vehicle does, the boat does, but we want to make sure that we modify the way it moves and specify it's moving on water. Well, to get it in action, very simple as well. We set up a variable, but we want to make sure that we use a new keyword. So we're calling on a new car to be created with those details: Toyota Camry, blue, and the VIN number. We can also do that for the boat. Create a new boat, give it the details of the boat, which include the brand, model, and the VIN number. From here, we should be able to have each one of those objects to move easily without any ado. So just like that, we're able to cover JavaScript a lot faster because, okay, we didn't need to explain all those concepts because the concepts are the same. The only thing that really changes is the syntax. So again, move method is abstract. We're abstracting details. Each class, subclass, I should say, is going to implement its own version of the move method. And in here, you see it says the private field needs to be described. We can disregard that. The private field in JavaScript is a pretty new concept around 2022. So again, kinks that need to be cleaned out later on, but I don't think it should break the code for now. PHP. All right. Again, very similar, the same concept pretty much, but we're going to start using the abstract keyword. Okay. PHP uses that abstract keyword to create that class, which is our vehicle. And we also use the private and protected keywords for our fields. So our brand, model, those will be protected, while the VIN number is going to be private. We use the struct keyword, construct per se keyword, and the construct keyword very similar to JavaScript. We have a constructor. Remember, the constructor fires off every time you create an object from the class. So when we create an object, we want to give that object a brand, a model, and a VIN. And remember, our VIN is going to be private. Okay. Then we need to get the VIN number from outside. Since it's private, just simply returning the VIN and it should be good. So remember, VIN number is private, but we have a public function getVIN, which we can use. We can also have a setVIN if we need to make a change to the VIN number rather than just getting it. Now we need that abstract public function move, which really doesn't have anything. It's just an empty function because we know each subclass is going to implement its version of that method. So again, class car this time around is going to extend the vehicle. We've seen the extend keyword before. We give it a private color. Okay, color is already, it's not been used before, but we're going to add that to our superclass. So the superclass is going to have that constructor firing off. And for us to do that, we need to go ahead and use the parent keyword. So we've defined our variable, or should I say we've defined our field, the color, and then we have our constructor, which is now pulling everything. I think I need to add a color in there. Yes, so that's the color being added at the end, and we should be good. Yeah. Now, where do we go from here? We want to make sure we create the move method, which is going to override that empty move method that we had before. So pretty much just print out, hey, I'm a car, I'm moving on land. So what's the details of the car? The details will include the brand, the model, and the VIN, the color as well. Just input all that details, all those details in there, and then specify how the movement is taking place. And that should be it for setting up your car class per se. Okay, so car class again is moving on land. We pretty much want to do the same thing for the boat, but the boat is going to be moving on water. So to make life easy for us, we can go ahead and just, let's see, I think there's an error here that I'm going to address that later. So again, our class boat extends vehicle, and vehicle is going to have, this time around the boat, we're not going to make many changes. We're just going to call on our constructor from the, what might I call it? From the superclass or the parent class, and then we should be good. So it's just extending that. The only thing it does is just overrides or creates a different way of moving per se, overrides the move method. And make sure your curly parentheses or curly braces are in the right position. Like I said, to make life easy, you can always slap in those end line comments, because tomorrow you'll come back to this code and it's still going to be problematic if you're getting issues. Anytime you spend more than a couple seconds on a line of code trying to figure something out, do yourself a favor, slap a comment in there for assistance for yourself later on when you come back to it. So to get it in action, it's pretty much going to be the same thing we did for JavaScript, but make sure JavaScript uses const, keyword, and so on. We are going to use our $, which we've seen before, making sure as well that we're using camel case instead of snake case, just to make sure everything is consistent with each language, slapping in your semicolons at the end as well, making sure that your code is clean. And just like that, in a few minutes, we've been able to look at each one of these side by side. Like I said, no big deal about the hashtag Vin in JavaScript, because that's a fairly new idea. So we've looked at PHP, all the advanced concepts of object-oriented programming. We've looked at JavaScript as well, and we've looked at Python, and everything so far looks great. And we can now go ahead and enjoy our fleet of vehicles and do whatever we want to do, create more instances and so on. Thank you for watching. Please smash that like button, subscribe, and catch you on the next video.